Hey boys, it's England in a couple of days' time. Yeah, my mind goes back to those good days that we had in England around the Champions Trophy. We've always played well in England, so can't wait to get there. We go back to that Champions Trophy time that we had. There were so many key factors there, and how that impacted on us as a team. We talk about our preparation, Ludes. You know, we made some tough decisions during that time. I know some of your training programs were really good as we came out of the West Indies. And we can just reflect on a couple of those moments and take those moments with us as we embark on what hopefully is going to be a fantastic journey and hopefully culminates in that same feeling that we got at the Oval that day, because that was, I think, one of our highlights for all of us. Grant, I remember sitting having a chat around after that Indian game, and we were the lowest we could ever possibly be. I remember you talking to your batsmen. I remember you thinking about Fakhar Zaman perhaps coming into the team and the gambles that we needed to take and how you prepared him. Shed us some light on that.
Well, I take myself back to, I went to watch some of the game upstairs in the afternoon with my brother and Claire Connor, to be honest, because it was such a nightmare. We were getting thrashed, and I was wondering if he had some answers, to which he didn't, but he just said, look, things can't get any worse, so get the bad game out of the way and move on. And that's how it was. I think our guys were just a bundle of nerves. The pressure got to them. But moving forward, I think we had an honesty chat in the change room before the next game against South Africa. A lot of good things came out through Shoaib Malik, Hafiz. And, you know, the guys spoke about the pressure and stuff that they weren't doing. They were speaking a good game, practicing a good game. But it's one thing doing it in the nets and another thing doing it in the middle. And Fakhar Zaman was a prime example. He couldn't even hit a half volley underarm in the nets before the Indian game. That's why he didn't play. And then you threw him in at the deep end against South Africa, played some fine shots and an quick innings of 30, and his Champions Trophy was away. So I think a lot of it in the big tournaments is controlling your nerves and playing under pressure. And yeah, obviously we're going to be on the world stage in the World Cup. Hopefully guys can handle it.
Yeah, and it's been interesting to see how those players have developed, you know, since we've been pretty consistent since that Champions Trophy, you know, very consistent in terms of our selection, and seeing how those players have developed under yourself, particularly our batsmen, has been so encouraging. So let's hope that we can recreate that as we get into England. I'm going to just digress for just a little bit, Luz. Remember that training session at Edgbaston? We'd just come out of the West Indies. There was a lot going on around that time, and I remember clearly us training at Edgbaston, and I remember there some things there became defining moments for us as we led into this Champions Trophy campaign.
Yeah, I think we've got to go back before that. We've got to, I think from my side, where we had to make fitness standards and implement some sort of ideas was that test match we played at Sydney. That Spider Cam, I think, ended it for us, where that Spider-Man came over and we were doing a training session with some of the one-day boys that arrived.
Spider-Man or Spider Cam?
Spider Cam.
Okay, cool.
It came and it came and spied on us during one of our training sessions, and there was like 4 boys sprawled all on the floor there. And I thought, this is not going to look good on TV. And true's Bob, it was shown on TV for the world to see that some of our boys weren't in the best physical condition to get through matches. And a lot of work was then put in to implement some sort of fitness standards. The yo-yo became a big talking point.
Well, why is the yo-yo? Why have we got that standard in the yo-yo, Lutz?
Well, that number that everybody talks about, 17.1, isn't just a number that we've just suck-thumbed. There's been research that has been done into 17.1, and the research was done on a women's team who don't even play before it became professional, and they wanted to find some sort of benchmark where girls play, or ladies at that stage played twice a week or 3 times a week, and they needed some sort of a level to see if they could back up that performance. So I went with the number of, based on they're going to play, let's say on average 2 games a week, so it became 17.1. And as a team, we've gone from 17-1 to 17-4. 17-4 is now the bench, is our bare minimum standard. But from a team point of view, our team average has gone from 17-4 to 18-1. So yeah, there's a few boys that are still lingering in the 17s, but the good thing is we've got some boys now that can run 18 plus, 19 plus, and we've got some guys like Mohammed Rizwan that run 21 on a yo-yo test.
And I think just to come in, I think the yo-yo test and the fitness testing, guys, it's not the be all and end all in terms of performance. But what it does do, it gives the guys a better opportunity of performing, and I think that's key for us. It gives them a better opportunity of performing, better opportunity of backing their performances up, and that for us is so important in terms of how many matches we continue play. So recovery becomes a massive part of that. But also, guys, I think that the one thing that we've learned is that's a reflection of us. So when players rock up out of condition, it's a reflection of the environment that we as a coaching staff, and particularly you, Ludes, as a fitness trainer have created. And players are starting to feel far better for themselves, and their performances are on the increase because of it, I think.
Yeah, and I think, Ron, if I can say, I think that's where the Champions Trophy was so good for us, because coming into that Champions Trophy, we had a few players that didn't arrive in the best shape, and we had to make a hard decision, and we had to send some of those players home. And thank goodness we had the results, because imagine, I don't think we'd be sitting here if the results didn't go our way, and we had sent some of our players home. So yeah, I think it was a watershed moment for us.
Well, what the fitness tests do, it gives you a barometer on what they're doing and something to fall back on. And it shows what they're bringing to the team and how much they want to play for their country.
Yeah.
Because if they arrive out of nick and not fit or overweight, it shows they're not willing to make the required sacrifices to play for the country.
Yeah.
And not that fitness tests are everything, but it tells you something about the individual. And a lot of players have been in our system, and they've got no excuse for failing fitness tests. The new guys that have just come in, Abed Ali, they new in the system, so they're still learning about the systems.
Yeah.
So it's fair enough. But for guys that have been part of it for a few years, they've only got themselves to blame if they're not in the team for that reason.
Yeah, because everything is provided, the programs are provided. On tour, we've got great facilities. So once you're in the environment, it's fantastic, because everything is really provided for you. So yeah, like you said, there are no excuses.
I think the thing with that, and we go back to the cricket side, that watershed moment in the change room where we sort of got together at the end of the Indian game, and I remember coming back from the press conference, the toughest press conference I've ever been to, simply because the magnitude of the India-Pakistan game. But I think that gave us all a little bit of a reality check in terms of where we needed to go as a team, and what we needed to do going forward. And I think the way the boys came out and the way the guys expressed themselves after that ground was fantastic, particularly your batsmen, and the work that you put in with the batsmen just escalated from there. The bowlers bowled exceptionally well and gave us realistic targets to chase, but the manner in which we chased them was fantastic. And I know you worked extremely hard with them, and just your input on that and some of the work you did with those players.
Yeah, obviously a lot of the input and coaching is not just done during the Champions Trophy. There's a lot before on other tours, net preparations here at the NCA, their fitness levels with Ludes. So there are a lot of sacrifices down the line. But I think after that first Indian game, the guys thought to themselves, well, things can't go much worse.
Yeah.
And Pakistan, generally, they've never won a World Cup game against India in a big tournament. So they got that out of the way, and the pressure was off. And yeah, then you could see it in the batsmen. Even the bowling was a lot better after that. And the bowlers led the way in that tournament. And they provided good opportunities for our batsmen to win games, because we weren't chasing the big totals that the other teams were.
The key, though, was the batsman. The attitude to batting around that was because we chased those targets comfortably, and if we can take that same attitude into this World Cup, It'd be fantastic with a little bit of lessons from the Asia Cup where we were obviously below par there. But those are the lessons that we need to take into this World Cup. I think in all our departments, because we know what the formula is. We know what works. We've just got to be brave in implementing it, and we've got to show, I think, that we've got that confidence in our players and that belief in their abilities for them to flourish. We've been consistent with our batting for a period of time in terms of roles. Do you see any of those roles changing for us going into this World Cup, or is it just more of the same for us?
I think it's a bit of both. I think you've got to be flexible as a coaching staff. Guys that are playing well, I mean, that can change really quickly. Guys that aren't playing that well, but suddenly, they rise to the occasion with the added pressures. We've got two more days of some good coaching to be done, some good practicing to be done here, some scenario-based drills. So we're trying to create that pressure that the guys are going to be under. There's still a long time till actually the first game of the World Cup, so there's a lot of preparation left. But I think it's, as long as the guys they know their roles, and we'll continually talk to them. But as long as they do the preparation right, then the pressure shouldn't be on them, because that's what all part of good preparation is, to take the pressure off yourself at the requisite time when you cross that line in the big games.
I know that's one of that's one of your key drivers, Grant, with your batting, and that's been so good for all of us in our areas. Is the enthusiasm with which you guys and professionalism with which you guys approach your particular areas and driving that positive energy forward with our players. I think that's going to be massively key. Ludes, we get to England in a couple of days' time. Have we got enough of a base here in terms of our fitness? Do we need to top it up? Do we need to work? Where does our focus go when we get to England?
I think big tournaments like the World Cup, I think we just got to keep topping up and make it skills based. We're going to just focus on what the players do best, and that's play cricket. The fitness and stuff, they've done all the hard work. Here and there, we're going to have a few sneaky sessions, and then let them go out and express themselves. And
you reckon we've got our guys to a base now that allows them to play to their optimum ability and gives them every chance of performance?
Yep, we are on average we've got 2.5 games a week, and I feel confident enough that the boys will be able to back it up week after week.
Mm-hmm. How do we keep our batsmen going? There's so much cricket just in terms of their roles, because guys are going to come in and out of form. I think for us now, do we have to just be really? And we've got to obviously show a massive amount of belief in our players and allow them to ride that form wave just a little bit, so that we can hit that World Cup bang ready to go. Your thoughts on that?
I think it's trusting your ability and your instincts, even if you have a few bad knocks along the way, is to keep trusting yourself, and hopefully the coaching staff to keep trusting in you and the players. So a lot of it's the environment that's created, and the guys relying on the preparation they've done. Otherwise, a lot of it's goes to waste, because you can definitely go through a little bad patch, but you've got to keep trusting yourself.
Just thinking, I remember that night sitting in that hotel, guys, and we had just won the Champions Trophy, and we were sitting there gushing about attitudes of our players. We were sitting gushing, talking about how they had embraced the failure against India and moving forward. Lessons out of that for us now going to England, lessons out of that going into the World Cup, because attitude is key for us. Dudes?
Yeah, I think the ignorance of youth. I think the young boys that came in, they didn't know what to expect, and there was no expectations on them. So win or lose, they were up for the challenge, and it showed. And some of those boys have almost become the senior players now in such a short space of time.
Yeah, Fakir Zaman's a great example. The way he played in the final and some of the games leading up to it was exceptional.
Yeah.
But since then, at times he's had a bit of a horror run with a bat, and it looked like he's never batted before.
Well, we know with Fakir, if he gets hit on the head, it's a good omen, because he gets going.
Definitely. A couple of top edges.
He's gone.
We just need to take a lot of helmets over there then. It's slightly changed a little bit though now, because there was that ignorance of youth around the Champions Trophy. But for us now as a coaching staff, we've got to find that belief in them, because now Now there is an expectation. Now there is a responsibility on the players because they've been in their roles for 2 years. How do we deal with that expectation and responsibility now? Because it's real and it's there going into the World Cup, which wasn't there going into the Champions Trophy.
I think we're similar again to the Champions Trophy, where we've got a few unknown players. We don't even really quite know what their potential is, and if we don't know, how's the opposition going to know? So I think we're in the same position once again, the unknown.
I think, and also you say, how do we know? Well, that sometimes, you can do as much coaching as you want to. It's up to the players. They got to lead. That's what they get paid the big bucks for.
And they lead in attitude. They lead in so many different things. We talk about belief though, and one of the things that came out of our chat yesterday with the Prime Minister was there were two words that came out for me, is no fear and belief. And I think as a coaching staff, we've got to live by that as well. We can't be preaching to the players fear and belief if we actually don't believe in ourselves. And I know sitting here, we go in 2 days' time. We're taking a squad there that I totally believe in because we've seen them do it. We've seen them do it under pressure. How do you guys feel about it?
Yeah, 100%. And you've got to show the players that. And I think any coaching staff goes through phases where they discuss amongst themselves, look, not sure about player X or Y.
Of course.
And that's natural. But you've got to stay positive because it's definitely not going to be plain sailing all along the way. No. And it's a very open World Cup. A lot of the teams are very even, so anyone can win, which should make it a great spectacle.
Yeah, just in terms of the format, it's every game becomes cutthroat.
Yeah.
You play 9 World Cup finals before the semi-final. Every game is, and I think you've touched on something good, Grant, is unpredictability. But we've got to make sure, and that's a word that I know us as a coaching staff hate. I certainly do. I hate the everybody says, "Oh, Pakistan." You read all the previews now, where you think Pakistan are going to be in the top 4 because of their unpredictability. I'm saying no. Pakistan are going to be in their top 4 because of the work we've put in terms of their skills. Because I think we've got their good and bad a lot closer together because we're playing a more consistent brand of cricket. We're training well. The players are going through their routines very well. There's a structure, and with structure and clear role clarity comes less of that unpredictability tag. We know in our day we can beat anybody. It's us just finding that little key ingredient that makes our players believe.
Yeah, I mean, and I keep saying it. We're getting better at predicting when they're almost going to become a little bit unpredictable.
Yeah.
We've got that sense because we've been with the boys for so long. And then what makes our boys special is just that they've got a high level of belief system in themselves. It's something that it's unexplainable. You've got to be around them to see that high level of belief that they have in themselves, and it's something that I've enjoyed working with these boys.
Yeah, I think we talk about that belief structure and that belief system so much. I mean, you talk about it a lot, Grant, particularly with your batsmen. The highs and the lows are a lot less high and low than a lot of teams we've been involved in before.
Yeah, I do. And you've got experienced guys there that have played a lot of cricket, like Hafiz and Malik, just to name 2. So, a lot depends on them. And hopefully they come through with us on a big occasion. But we got a great opportunity compared to some teams. We've got 5 one-days against England.
Yeah.
So there's brilliant preparation there, and hopefully we'll make the most of that. But, the unpredictability, Nasser Hussain was asked recently about Pakistan's chances, and he said, well, they've just lost 5-0 to Australia, so they'll probably win the tournament.
Yeah, and he would have known that we are a bit more predictable when we've got our full strength side playing there. The PCB have put together this fantastic slogan, "We have, we will." And I think that encapsulates exactly what we've been talking about here. We have won, we have shown success, we tend to rise to the big occasion, and we will. And I think for us as a coaching staff, that will is so important because that's where we come in. Because we've got to have prepared them and have done the work. Your area, Grant, we tika, we're ready to fire.
Yeah, definitely. We've got a few days left, but we're definitely ready. Before big tournaments, there are going to be so many cliches and so many pundits talking about this and that. It's easy to listen to too much and get confused in what you're actually doing. At the end of the day, it's just a game of cricket, but with a hell of a lot of pressure. So it's up to the individual to break it down and make it easier for themselves. Up to us to create that as well by not putting too much more pressure on them than there already is. But it should be a great thing, and the guys should be looking forward to it, and hopefully thinking alongside those lines.
Yeah. You talk about that outside noise. I read something really good yesterday. Brad Scott, who coaches the North Melbourne footy team, they were hammered again. They're a good young footy team on the rise, much like our boys were at the Champions Trophy, and they got hammered again on the Good Friday game at the MCG, and he started talking about the players pre-season started believing the outside noise. So they started believing all the pundits saying they will be in the top 8, they will get to the finals because of this reason. They're a young, dynamic, exciting team, etc. They're unpredictable. That's a word that came out for them. And he said that has absolutely no relevance. That has absolutely no relevance because that's just out there. That's just outside noise that at the end of the day has no bearing on how you arrive and how you turn up on the day and how you play. And whether you win the game or lose the game. And I thought that was so pertinent to us as a Pakistan team, and we'll use that. We'll use that in our campaign because the outside noise has no relevance whatsoever. So I almost get more and more upset when you see these players or everybody all predicting we're going to be in there, because nobody can predict. It's the most open World Cup that I think we've ever had. Luz, finish off your area. We're ready. We Tika.
Yeah, we have won a T20 World Cup, a World Cup proper, a Champions Trophy. We have been number 1 in Test cricket, so we will.
We have
and we will.